physics test blacken and curl, her eyes welled, and she said in a thick voice, "Oh, Daff, who am I going to be when you go off to college?" I snuggled closer to her, and she wrapped her arms around my shoulders. "You're still going to be you," I told her. "The best mom on the planet." She kissed me on the head, said, "Sometimes I wish I held on to a little bit more." "It's just stuff," I reminded her, her own constant refrain. Life, I'd learned, is a revolving door. Most things that come into it only stay a while. The men, hell-bent on proving their feelings for Mom, eventually gave up and moved on. The friends from the last school who promised to write faded from the rear view in a month or two. The boy who called you every day after one magical summer night outside the Whippy Dipper would return to school in the fall holding someone else's hand. There was no point clinging to something that wasn't really yours. Mom was the only permanent thing in my life, the only thing that mattered. When she put me on a plane to send me off to undergrad, neither of us cried. Instead, we stood hugging each other so long and tight that later I found a bruise on my shoulder. My entire wardrobe of solid-colored basics fit into one suitcase, and we'd shipped the jute rug we'd found on clearance, along with a mug, bowl, set of silverware, and hot pot, which Mom joked would allow me to make all of my major food groups: tea, Easy Mac, and Top Ramen. That was 2 states and 5 apartments ago. In all that time, I'd managed to accumulate very little clutter. Then Peter and I moved into the Waning Bay house with its wraparound porch. That day, he scooped me into his arms, carried me over the threshold, and said 3 magic words that changed my little minimalist heart forever. "Welcome home, Daphne." Just like that, something in me relaxed, my gooeyest parts oozing out beyond my heretofore carefully maintained boundaries. Until that moment, I'd carried my life like a handkerchief knapsack at the end of a broom handle, something small and containable I could pick up and move at the drop of a hat. And I never knew what it was I was running from or to until he said it. Home. The word stoked an ember in my chest. Here was the permanence I'd been waiting for, a place that would belong to us. And yes, our uneven financial situations complicated that ownership, but while he paid the bills, I could focus on cozying the place up. My minimalism went out the window. Now, all that stuff, furniture intended for a 3-bedroom house,